US imposes visa bans on Israeli settlers responsible for West Bank violence. Before we dive in details, please subscribe to the channel and stay always one step ahead to know all global important events happening around you. Give a thumbs up and share the video with your family and friends. Let's move on with the video. In a rare punitive move against Israel, the US has announced it will impose travel bans on extremist Jewish settlers implicated in recent attacks on Palestinians in the West Bank. The Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, announced the decision on Tuesday after warning Israel last week that Joe Biden's administration would be taking action over the attacks. Blinken did not announce individual visa bans, but officials said those would be coming this week and could affect dozens of settlers and their families. We have underscored to the Israeli government the need to do more to hold accountable extremist settlers who have committed violent attacks against Palestinians in the West Bank, Blinken said in a statement. As President Biden has repeatedly said, those attacks are unacceptable. The United States was among those who voiced their repulsion. The State Department labeled Smotrich's comments as repugnant and disgusting. The US government urged Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to disavow these incendiary remarks. However, despite this vocal rebuke, many believed that words were not enough. Rights groups and advocacy organizations, including Americans for Peace Now and J Street, called upon President Joe Biden to take more decisive action. Their demand? Deny Bezalel Smotrich entry into the US by imposing a visa ban. Despite the United States' long-standing commitment to Israel and the annual $3.8 billion in aid it provides, the outcry against Smotrich's comments and the violence in the West Bank was potent. Ultimately, this led to the decision to impose a visa ban on Smotrich, marking a significant shift in US-Israeli relations. Democratic Senator Peter Welch also called on President Biden to actively push for a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, emphasizing the need for a more proactive approach in addressing the ongoing tensions. In summary, the violence in the West Bank initiated a chain of events that reshaped the US's response to Israeli actions. The inflammatory comments by Bezalel Smotrich, coupled with the international outrage over the attack on Huwara, led to the call for a visa ban. Despite initial resistance, the US eventually imposed the ban, signifying a more assertive stance against violence and inflammatory rhetoric. The implications of these events are far-reaching, potentially heralding a change in the dynamics of US-Israeli relations and the handling of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.